What's poppin', everybody? It's Amanda, and today we have a couple of very talented bitches with me.
So my name's Lindsay Rose. My handle is Lindsay Rose Tattoos.
Sick tits.
My name is Jude, and my handle is JC Tattoos.
Yeah, cool
underscore.
fucking name. Cool fucking name, Jude. That's your,
Thank you.
Jude.
right? Lindsay's also cool. That's where I came. That's where I'm from. Shout out Lindsay. Never mind.
Well, shout out, Lindsay.
And sorry, do you guys currently are both in Toronto? Except you're like.
I grew up in Toronto, but I just moved up to Whitby, so.
Yeah,
loving
because you
it
said
there.
you were born and raised and you were sick of that shit.
Yeah, I grew up there. I'm tired of the city. It's way too congested for me now, and just, I like that easy, like, peaceful lifestyle.
That's what I'm striving to have myself.
Yeah.
Born and raised in Toronto too. Trying to plan an escape.
Yeah? Not for you?
Yeah, just
Does Travis, because I understand that you and your boyfriend are both tattooers, do you both like work in Toronto and want to escape Toronto?
so he's more of a country boy. He's in Kitchener, which is I know a city, but like even Kitchener is too busy for him.
Oh, yeah? I don't know how busy it is. Is it quite?
It's just like a small city, just like stereotypical small city in Ontario.
Yeah? Like a Peterborough kind of thing? You been?
Yeah, yeah. Peterborough is like a little bit more.
More? A little bit more?
A little bit more
Nice
small
country.
town, I feel like.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Where in the country is he?
No, he's like right in Kitchener. It's not like true country.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But he's like,
Is that what
that's
people
like
consider
everything he
countries
loves.
in
He's out in
Toronto?
the
'Cause
country as much as possible.
what's that?
He's like out in the country as much as he possibly can be.
I respect the shit out of that. I'm in Pontypool right now, and it's really peaceful as fuck. You guys don't know where it is. Never mind. It's just like there we have a gas station.
It's one of those places that's like the highlight.
That's also a store. That's also the pizza place and the coffee shop.
Nice.
But
Yeah,
what we
yeah.
don't have in the city is like, those nice long roads where when the sun sets, and you can actually see the sun setting and like farmland and all that. We
It's not
don't
like a
have that.
thousand
So
gray
for me,
buildings
like,
in the
I
way.
love driving through that stuff and like seeing the.
So you see that more since you've moved here.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
nice. It's just.
So you work at Odalisk.
You
And
gotta say it like that.
right? I don't know. I feel
There
weird
has to be a
like-
hand gesture.
So you work at Odalisk, and then you work with Tattoo Kid
Yes, I just started working at Tattoo Kid.
part time.
Yeah, 2 months ago. I'm loving it though. It's a good vibe, good people.
Yep. And then do you like to do that transition towards for cities and everything? Did you find it was hard to book, or was it pretty fluent because you came from not that far away?
Well, the funny thing is, I actually have a lot of people up in the East End, but
Oh,
most of my clients are not even from Toronto. Like, a lot of them are coming from the West, like Hamilton, Brampton, Mississauga, or like either the North, Aurora, Barrie, and then I've got a ton of clients up here too.
huh. So you're
It
just-
actually worked out pretty well.
nice. So
and-
you've been tattooing for about how long? Both of you, actually. How long have you been tattooing?
I think I'd say about 6 years.
6 years?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You too?
It's gonna be 10 years this winter.
Oh,
Sounds
the
really-
winner.
Yeah.
10 years.
I know.
Dude,
Sounds really
nice.
Weird to
Mine's
say out
gonna
loud.
No, I know. Mine's going to be 10 years in May.
Oh shit.
Yeah, dude. Are we twinning? Except you're
I
tall
know,
as
we are
fuck, bro. You came in here. I was like, I'd already met you, but you were sitting for the most part. And then you kind of stood beside me, and I was like, oh,
I
What
have that
the
effect on people.
what are you? I have that effect on people. What are you?
6 feet.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
It's always more when a chick is 6 foot, though. Does that make sense? Like, when do you feel me? When you meet a chick and they're 6 foot, and a dude, you're just like, oh yeah, you're fucking tall. When you're a chick, you're like, ah! Like, it's good. It's cool. So you've been tattooing for 10 years. Where and how did you start? Like with your apprenticeship, what was that like? Like old school, a little bit. You hit the old school end of that.
Yeah. I mean, I just started using rotaries like maybe 2 or 3 years ago.
You were coiling it up for that long?
Yeah.
Coils with a coil.
Or like really, really like old street shop mentality type
Toronto?
shops. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're born and raised. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
You too, Toronto?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, actually, you know what? My apprenticeship started in a really small town. I don't know if you guys know where this is, but it's called Cannington.
Yes, of course.
You
It's
know
up my way.
Cannington?
Yeah, of course.
Oh,
It's up my way.
okay. My mentor was like, okay, well, we're gonna start you off at Cannington, and the shop was in a basement of a gym. So
A gym.
so you'd have to walk through the gym and just like go past the gym down into the basement. And I think we only had throughout like the whole month one client come in, and that was my apprenticeship. But then he was like, his buddy's going to open a shop in Toronto. Let's move down towards there. And I'm like, okay, thank God. Like, I'm
Thank God.
thank God I'm like going back to Toronto, because this is just. But it was fun. I'd make it a trip there, like an hour
foot in
trip
the door.
drive.
So when you moved to Toronto, was it busier, and that's where you kind of actually started
Oh
tattooing
yeah,
more?
there was way more walk-ins. And
Walk-in shop is a fucking.
we were on Eglinton, like Little Jamaica. I don't know if you know where that is. Pretty sketchy area. There's a lot
Hell
of
yeah.
crazies out there.
Uh-huh.
But
Close to Toronto.
yeah, there was a lot of crazy things happening in that shop.
Like coming in and being
yeah,
weird?
people coming in, just like we got like, I guess strong arm. Somebody came in saying that they were like Hell's Angels and like, telling us that they wanted us to give them money every month. But I don't know.
Jesus.
I think that was like just some
That was
random
only
crazy
6
person.
years ago?
It was just some random crazy person coming in and like
Being like, this
trying
is
to
how
get
it's
money
gonna
out of
do
my
now.
boss.
What
But
is this, jail?
they ended
you know
up
what I mean?
getting in a fight outside of the shop, actually.
As
Wow.
you do.
So he wasn't even Hell's Angels. He was just pretending to be.
Maybe he had some type of like affiliation, but I don't know. It was just
Yeah, who
weird.
knows, right?
Yeah.
That is a thing, though, even in, well, all over, I guess. I don't know. Maybe just Ontario. I have no idea. But I know a handful of shops that are. That's why I asked earlier. And I was like, oh, that shop name. I was like, there was one in Lindsay with
Yeah.
the same name and super sketchy, was Hells Angels affiliated. But you in Kennington.
I think
they
it
weren't.
might have been too. Yeah, I don't know, but I was only there for like a month and every Saturday, so it was technically only like probably 4 or 5 days that I went there.
Okay, and then they moved to Toronto.
Yeah, and once we moved to Toronto, I was back there and just like doing it full time there.
Okay.
From when I
So
started.
that's when you actually started picking up and learning stuff
Yep.
and getting like tattooing crackheads and shit.
Yeah.
Because like when I
We
worked
all
in like a
started.
basement grow shop in like an area that was just Ottawa, didn't even
Yeah.
work in Toronto, but I know Toronto is like nasty.
Yeah.
Like when it comes, like if you're in a tattoo
In
shop,
my
in
area,
a
it
bad
was
area?
crazy. Yeah, it was like a bad area. There was this one guy who would always come in like every month, and he'd have a big fat envelope of money.
Hell yeah.
And at the time, I was just learning, and I wanted to tattoo as many people as I could to build up my portfolio and like just learn, right? And also make money too.
Yeah.
But he would come in after a day of not working all day long, and I'd be like desperate. Okay, yeah, I'll do it. And this guy always smelled really bad. He just
Of course.
yeah, he always smelled
so
bad.
hard.
He would come in. He was very sketchy and weird. Like he was definitely on something, or like you know. And one time I was tattooing him, and he goes. So did you know that the government puts microchips into tattoos by tattooing? So
What?
he was basically, I'm sitting there like freaking out because this guy's like a super tall man, like
Yeah,
super
creepy.
scary looking. His eyes were like,
Violated as fuck.
yeah. And I'm like sitting there tattooing him. I'm like, shit, I'm going to be murdered right
Yep.
now. He's going to strangle me right now. And I'm like thinking that in my
Were
head.
you alone in the shop?
Well, at the time, like my boss was there, like he was just doing things, but I was pretty much alone in the shop. But he was in the downstairs basement, like.
Okay, so it was another level.
Yeah,
floor
he was
that
still
on.
there, but
Yeah, but still.
it's still scary. It was still like funny. It's just a funny story.
It's
but-
that's so funny.
Funny that nothing happened.
I was thinking that you were
Yeah.
like, I might get murdered. I was
yeah,
thinking, ha ha.
because he's thinking he's being all like you know he's a conspiracy theorist, and he's
So he
like
thinks you were getting like putting microchips in him.
yeah.
You guys aren't doing that?
But he was the way he said it though. The way he said it was like, did you know that the government puts microchips into people by tattooing them? And I'm like, so maybe he's thinking I'm like the government or something.
Oh, yeah, he's gonna take
You're
you
like,
down.
well, I am government. Yeah, what a terrifying. There's a bunch of terrifying. Like, what was your
Yeah.
was your apprenticeship similar to that? Like,
Yeah.
ghetto Toronto.
Yeah, I mean, it was like, it wasn't the worst, but definitely, like, it wasn't full time. Like, I didn't have one mentor.
Multiple
Like,
mentors?
Yeah, it was kind of like everybody
kinda
was
me.
kind of like,
Like I had the two mentors. Like
yeah, like it was kind
two
of like a
guys?
foot in the door, and yeah, they got me tattooing pretty quickly, which I didn't really want to do, but like,
You didn't want it?
like I did, but like, you hear all these like good apprenticeships, they're just like, oh, you gotta like practice on like fruit and like
For, like,
face
6
skin for like a
months,
certain amount of
yeah.
time, but
Just jump right into skin?
yeah, just threw me
Same.
in the fire, which
My
it
boss,
worked out in the end, but
he did the same thing to me. He like just threw me in the fire.
yeah,
Like
good luck.
this one girl came in and was like, I want to get a feather on my hand, like right here. And then I said, my boss comes up to me and he's like, do you want to do a feather on a hand? I'm like, and then he goes, you're doing it. And then just like,
Yep.
I'm
Right
like,
away,
well,
hand tattoo.
what? And then
No big
and he
deal.
said, so then I start drawing and I start sketching the whole feather out, like shading it and everything, and like just drawing a realistic feather on a piece of paper. And he's like, what the hell are you doing? He's like, just draw a simple line work of a feather and then slap it on her hand. And I'm like, but, and
As if they don't walk you through it, and then you're a fucking idiot for not doing it the way they
Yeah,
like that fucking
automatically supposed to be a master.
yeah. But I don't know. It kind of did teach me like to be able to work under pressure and faster.
Oh yeah,
But
Yeah,
the
I'm-
old school shit. You mean?
yeah, I'm still like a perfectionist, so I still want everything to look nice and like clean and everything. So,
That's what you
But-
want. Some of that old school stuff, I'm sure, was beat into you. Same with you.
oh yeah,
So you started tattooing real quick
yep,
in Toronto.
yep.
Two different apprenticeships kind of thing, or
I
two
had
guys
one
teaching?
apprenticeship. It wasn't very long. I think I was there for like a year. And then I started in a shop downtown Toronto, which was like an old school street shop. But like
Oh,
it
yeah.
was right in like the crazy area of Toronto. Well, I mean, there's a lot of crazy areas in
Yeah.
Toronto. But like,
I was gonna
like
say-
Cam H, homeless shelters.
what area was
Yeah.
that?
Spadina College.
Oh yeah, that is
Yeah.
one of the areas.
Everyone's nodding like, yeah, we know. We know how sketchy that area is.
So did you have a lot of like homeless people, like or crazies come in
Yeah.
try to
yeah.
get tattooed?
A little bit of everybody. You can tell sometimes when they just came straight from CAMH, or some people from the homeless shelter. There's a lot of times I was there by myself too, so trying to deal with people, and like sometimes I don't really know what to do. Like, what am I really gonna do? You know what I mean? If someone gets aggressive,
How do I murder this person or fucking run away? Yeah. It's a little
So-
bit. Well, I was actually going to ask you guys something like that. Is that this, especially back in the day, it was very male dominated, and it was a bit terrifying. I had a lot of experiences as a female that was
Yeah.
inappropriate, difficult, also as well as with a casual apprenticeship. And I'm sure there's a little bit more brutality maybe that comes with the old school apprenticeship with men. I'm not trying to take away from their experience. They may be harder on them somehow, but there was some gross stuff, or there was just like some rude shit or whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm finding now, one, that's kind of washing away a little bit, but it's a little bit more female dominated. I've noticed, maybe not dominated, but it's becoming that.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
a lot more. Like I didn't even tattoo with a girl until I worked with Laura. At fucking one time at Mike's, Becca Blackwork had
Yep.
come down and like did a guest spot. That was the first time I ever tattooed around a chick.
I've worked at her before too.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
so awesome. She's
Yeah,
so fun.
Yeah, I like her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was wondering why maybe you guys think that is, or maybe the pros and cons to that. There's no cons.
Well,
Yeah.
when I first started working at the shop that I was working at, a lot of people, especially men, would come in, and these were like, I'd say, walk-ins, and maybe some of them people who did reach out to me thinking that I was a male. So they'd come in, I'd have my design ready, I'd show them the design, and they would look at it, and then they see my boss, Eric, who's like covered in tattoos. He's got face tattoos. He's covered in like his whole body is pretty much covered. Anyways, they would look at him and be like, "Oh, what do you think of the design? Do you think this is like they think it's
Male
like
validation. They need
yeah,
that.
they needed that from him, and he would obviously be like, convincing them that this is a nice design and everything, this is perfect.
And then they'd be like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, if it's nice because
So
you said it.
if you
in the
approve
beginning, it
then-
was like that for me. And a lot of people would come up to me and be like, hi, I'm looking for JC tattoos. And I'd be like, yeah, that's me. And they're like, oh, that's you? Like, oh, I thought you just
I
worked
thought
at
you
the
was
front.
a
One person
dude.
actually said that to me. I thought you were just working at the front.
Yeah, that's what women do. We do reception.
Yeah, and
Like,
now I don't get that anymore because like of a lot of the styles that the style that I do, I have everything on my portfolio. Like people look at it and they're like, okay, this is what I want, and it's just like my style is a little bit more dark and like
moody.
yeah,
Masculine?
so yeah, masculine a little bit, I guess, because I do tattoo more males.
Do you?
Yeah, so they don't question that anymore. But back when I first started, people would question.
Rough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they'd have to have his validation before they even get it done on them. So I was
Yeah.
like, well, I could do like masculine tattoos too.
Yeah, of course. And you do black and gray realism, right? So
I do a little bit too, yeah.
Yeah?
I do like lots of like really dark imagery as well.
dark imagery.
Yeah, your
okay.
lettering is.
Oh, thank you. Oh, you almost did your knuckles?
Yeah, I was gonna say we were supposed to do my knuckles at Nick's, but yeah, we still need to. They're still blank. They're
Yeah,
waiting
I'd love
for you.
to. Yeah.
Let's do it.
But did you find like a similar type of experience kind of thing? It was a bit odd that way as a chick. Well, even just like being in the shop alone. Did you tattoo with a chick ever? Or like how many years did it take until you tattooed?
Yeah, even at my apprenticeship, there was a couple female tattooers.
A couple.
Yeah.
Was it a big shop?
Yeah, it was 2 floors. Yeah. It's not around anymore.
Ah,
Yeah, but
I say that's a lot.
yeah, and then even at my second shop where I was at for a long time, there was a female apprentice for a little bit, but I was like the only like female artist.
That was like
Yeah.
good to go.
Yeah, I'm kind of used to working with males. I think like
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really experience a lot of negativity. Honestly,
that's
like
good.
I've talked to clients like that are interested in becoming a tattoo artist, and they're like, one girl in particular was like, "Oh, I'm just kind of nervous, like being a female. Like, what would that be like?
Mm-hmm.
Like," and I'm like, honestly, like use it to your benefit,
Yeah.
because a lot of shops would hire you just because you're a
No,
female.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think
Because
that's
a lot
why I
of
got a
female
job.
clients want to get tattooed by females. So it's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
use it to your benefit, and I think it's actually more beneficial now than it was like 15 years ago.
Do you feel like that might, because that's definitely a thing where there was only men tattooing for a while, for a long time. And then a lot of dudes that hire people are hiring like young women, specific, like attractive ones.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if that's like a portion or part of the reason why there's a lot of the influx of female artists. I don't hate it, I love it, but I'm just wondering if that's like a part of it.
I don't know. There's a demand for sure. Like I think like when I first started getting tattooed, it was only male artists ever, and it was the most brutal experience. It was never fun. It was just the wild, wild west. And then I think like the demand for going in and like being treated like a human being and like a bit of customer service doesn't hurt. And you guys are phenomenal at doing that. And guys, I feel like they fell behind pretty quickly with that. And it was gate
Female
kept
touch,
too.
yeah.
You're gonna keep
Oh, yeah,
something
keep
from
keeping.
like any person whatsoever. It's just gonna fuel the fire to get in that much more. So I think the fact that there was such a period where people were pushed out as far as like not allowing females to tattoo, it's just like, yeah, now's our time. So like, fuck you. Like sit back and take notice. And yeah, it's the pendulum's definitely swinging the other direction for sure.
Yeah, I do find that there's that influx, which is just is positive to me. I'm like excited because I'm like, oh, you fucking bad bitches. Like, you know what I mean? I'm excited.
I think even 6 years ago, it was just starting. Like I was always like tattooing around like mostly male artists. Like there weren't that many even 6 years ago.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's a whole new world.
And we love it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm happy to be here.
I don't know. I
can't
mean, even
imagine.
the talent pool, like it's taken everything to like such an insane level.
Yeah.
Like everyone went to art school and then came back and were ready to tattoo, and it just pushed the industry to just get better and better and better and better. And I think that's why it's at the level it is now,
that's
because
true.
of this influx and getting the fire put underneath everyone's ass to move.
That is true.
There's nothing more motivating than seeing a talented person online. You're like, fuck.
It is
I gotta
motivating.
do better.
Yeah, I kind of love it.
Yeah.
or seeing different types of creation. You know what I mean? Like it's like you see the same thing over and over, and you're like, how can I get more creative? And then you see like a handful of things, and you're like, oh, you know what I mean? And then I start designing differently.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Or even the process, because people will, whether it's a Wacom or whatever you call them, Wacom doesn't sound right, but the iPad, hand drawn. What's that?
You got to say it like that too.
Whack 'em. You gotta whack 'em or iPad. Because I find like those are the two devices, but or sometimes it's just Photoshop. But everybody's like process of designing is a little bit different on how they do things, and what even just watching their process is kind of interesting. Or what apps they use can help. What do you guys use? And like, what's your process like of designing?
I use Procreate.
Same.
I used to use just like this sketching paper with the light board and
before iPads.
Yeah.
laptop. I had a laptop, Photoshop, and I had collected like 7-10 books like of sketchbooks. But then, say you had a client that wanted to come back with the design, you can't even find the sketchbook or the design that you wanted. So for me, I switched over to iPad because it's so much easier and like
Saves a lot of time.
less to put in your bag,
Yeah, it's true. Not like a handful of paper, stack of papers.
pencil cases and like.
I do love pencil drawing. Sometimes I go back to it, but it's harder.
Yeah.
When you don't do it for a while, and then you go back to like just hand drawing with a pencil.
Yeah,
Feels
you
different.
can't just erase
Yeah, I
things
can't
like
erase this layer.
like
What's
that.
going on?
Oh, did you ever do that? You're like drawing, and then you're like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've
Wait a
done
second.
that before. Yeah.
So you guys did do that walk-in stuff. Do you have any cool stories?
Yeah, I mean, working on Spadina, there was some characters that came in for sure. One in particular, I don't know if I'm going to be able to remember every single aspect of this. It wasn't somebody who was talking to me, but I was in the shop while it was happening. So it was our junior artist there, and somebody walked in. He was wearing a trench coat. He smelled kind of weird. And I was like, oh, this is going to be good.
They always smell weird.
Off to a
Trench coat and smell
fantastic
weird.
start.
Yeah, it's a good combo. And he was like very like keep it on the down low, like he was like embarrassed of his idea, but like obviously we're all like what's going on? And he had this little drawing apparently, and like he was really embarrassed about the lack of pubes that he had.
In what?
So I heard about this all afterwards. And yeah, he like had a little drawing, and apparently it was just like a stick figure, and it showed like where like the pubes were, and he was like, see, like I want it more full like that. And I'm not even fucking with you. Like it's like a real thing that happened.
You wanted
And he was
pubes?
like,
Pubes tattoo?
yeah, like he was like, can you like tattoo like my crotch area to make it look like I have more pubes? And that was like the number one
Isn't there
story
a
that
name
stood
for that?
out
Like-
my entire career, and I wish I was the one who talked to him, because it's just so good.
Wasn't
Did
what I was
they end up
I wish
expecting.
doing it?
no. He was like, I don't really feel comfortable doing that.
No
I
doubt.
wish he was able to keep the drawing, but he was like,
He
no, I gotta keep that.
smells. I gotta keep my stick man drawing.
Yeah. Oh man, we would have kept that forever. Got it laminated. Put it on the wall.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, maybe that's
Oh,
why
it
he's
would've
like,
been
no,
so
the
good.
fun
He
make fun
came
of
in
me.
You gotta
The
find the
trench
person
coat.
that did
Yeah.
that bush.
I don't know if he was naked
Did
under
that
there to like
bush.
show him after, if it were like easy access, I don't really know what he was
man.
expecting.
I don't know what I was expecting, but I wasn't expecting that story.
Yeah.
Like anyway, some guy came in and he was all sketchy and smelly and wanted me to tattoo his bush.
Yep.
Fuck yeah.
Or lack thereof.
Or lack
Wanted a
thereof,
bush.
yeah.
Yeah.
I can't imagine feeling insecure that it wasn't hairy enough on my cuter.
I know, right?
I need more orange. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want darker orange or something. Whatever. What about you? What about your pubes? No.
There was one guy that walked in one time. It was more of like, I think I was more annoyed though, because like he walked in and he was eating a bag of Doritos.
Hell yeah.
And this was like in the middle of like, maybe it was around like 7, 8 o'clock. And
So like near closing.
yeah, like
like,
close to
"Yeah,
nighttime.
He's
And
got cheese fingers.
yeah, so he came in. At the time, like I just was chilling out, relaxing. I wasn't really like, I was about to leave, but he came in, and he walked in and he was like, I want to get this done, and it was like something small in his thigh. So I was like, okay, sure. I didn't know at the time, but he was actually drunk. But he seemed like he was normal when he walked in. And as I was tattooing him halfway through, he starts gagging. And I'm like, oh, this guy also smells like alcohol now to me.
no.
Yeah, now you smell it.
And Doritos. So,
Alcohol and Doritos. Honestly, that sounds like a good time.
yeah. So then
And
he
a
starts
tattoo in there?
gagging and he can't, finally he's like, I need to puke in your garbage can. And I'm like,
Nice.
It's a small tattoo too.
yeah, it was like a medium, like a small size, I guess.
Yeah.
And so I was like, yeah, go ahead. And then
So we just fuck, go ahead.
See, customer
So-
service.
he pukes in the garbage can, and I had to finish the tattoo, obviously with it smelling like vomit. It was disgusting.
Do you have a lot of
Good
people
times.
vomit before? I've had lots of people vomit or pass out.
I've had lots of people almost vomit. I've only ever had one person actually vomit.
Really?
Yeah.
Only one fucking
Only
person?
one in
10 years?
Yeah,
That's crazy to me.
I know.
Could be
Only
maybe
one
some-
person ever passed out, actually, too.
Me too.
Yeah.
Only one person. And I wasn't even tattooing him.
Oh, he just passed out like before?
I'll tell you the story. So
Yeah.
I'm there. It was his very first tattoo, so maybe he was just like freaking out. And I've got the stencil laid on his arm, his bicep. He's getting a full bicep piece. So he's standing there. I have my Sharpie. I'm starting to draw on his arm, and all of a sudden I see him like turn completely white. Then he starts like swaying a little bit. I'm like, oh shit, this guy's gonna
It's
drop.
got the glisten.
Yeah, and this guy's like two times bigger than me, and
Yeah.
I'm like,
Maybe I'll hold
he
this guy
he
up.
like passes out, and like I kind of like tried to catch him, but he actually hit the wall. Luckily he didn't fall on the ground. Though.
No, the wall's
So
good.
he hit the wall, and one of the frames like dropped, and I had to catch that. So I'm like holding him and then holding the holding the frame because that almost smashed onto his head. And he woke up like 10 seconds later, and he's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like,
Are you okay?"
okay?
He asked you if you were okay?
Yeah,
When
he
he
asked
came to you?
because
What?
I think he was confused. Like he didn't know what
Oh,
happened,
yeah.
and there was like a full shop of people.
He's like, did I just crush
What a
you?
gentleman.
I don't know what happened.
What a gentleman. He wakes up from
I
almost.
felt bad, but yeah, he ended up getting the tattoo done though.
I love
for him.
that.
Came
Good
back.
for him.
Yeah.
I had a couple people. I've had a handful of people pass out and vomit. It's
Yeah.
not even weird. Oh yeah.
What was
I'm
the
like,
craziest story?
of somebody passing out. I think that one of the first times. I mean, there's lots. It's always a different story when somebody passes out. You know, like I've had to. A guy was a lot taller than me. He was probably like, I don't know, who's tall. He was like 6'2" or something like
Yeah.
that. And he did the sway while standing. Like he was sitting. I was tattooing him. Then he stood up because he was like, I'm hot. And I was like, And so he started taking off his sweater like this. And then he got caught like this because it was over for him.
Yeah, yeah.
So he was up like that with over his face, and then he started doing the sway, and he paused like that. So he was falling down and bigger than me, and I'm like 5'8", but like it's still like catching somebody that's bigger than
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
I was like,
it's
"Ooh."
hard. It's hard. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm like kicking. I kick
I
like
broke. Yeah. I broke his fall, but he still fell.
breaking the
yeah.
fall helps.
Yeah.
That's all that matters. The one I didn't catch was the first time I ever did because it was on a straddle chair. He was getting his forearm done like
Yeah.
this, and so he was doing like his chest was leaning on it, and I had never had anyone pass out. I was in Lindsay at 13.
Yeah.
And he was on a straddle chair getting tattooed. He said some fucking gibberish at me. And I was like, tattooing. And I was like, what? He said something more gibberishy. I was like, what? And I look up, and then
look at his face,
and then
you're
he
like,
just
"Oh,
went
no."
like his eyes rolled back, and he just fell off to the side, and then just hit the fucking ground and landed on my foot pedal because I was still using coils at the time. So he just landed, and it was like. Because I put my thing down, I was like, "Oh my god!" And it was like, "Bah!" And it was loud because he was on it, and then he was just like face down on the ground, the dirty ground. I was like, "Oh my
Ugh.
fucking god!"
Yeah.
And I kind of just stood there because I was in disbelief, and I was like,
Yeah,
"Huh?
that really just happened.
what just happened?" And then luckily my friend Jamie, he went over and he was like, "Okay, well," and he actually handled it for me. But I was like, "Oh shit!" But there's lots of people vomit. I feel bad for the people that vomit. There was a girl that like was passing out on and off while I was tattooing her. Then she went up to the front of the shop, needed to sit down when she paid, vomited at the front of the shop
Nice.
on stuff. I'm like, oh, that's embarrassing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But anyways, so you guys tattoo full time,
Yep.
Yep.
right? How much does your career take over your life?
Pretty much all of it.
Both of you. Like, what's your week like? Like, when do you design? Do you do like on your days off? You design the whole week, or are you like?
I design the day before or like 2 days before.
Same,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's usually how it goes.
You can't like go that far ahead.
No.
To
I always
book.
I just like tell people straight up in consultations, they're like, I'm a really nervous person. Like, I need to see it like 2 weeks at a time. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. Like, I have other people's drawings ahead of you. Like, it's just not like a reality.
Yeah.
Like, I can try my best to get it to you like a couple days before, but like.
But even then, the reason
difficult.
why we don't send designs ahead of time is because
They can stew in it.
because they'll stew in it. They'll like it. It's a great design, but they will change it.
Mm-hmm.
They will.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, unless people really don't care. You know what I mean? But they'll be like, can I add, or can I do this? And then they do the pointless stuff that doesn't even matter over and over. And then you could do that 5 times before. And all that time that you spent doing that, you don't count during the tattoo. But
Yeah.
how long does it take you guys to design?
About like, yeah, it depends. About like an hour. Sometimes I'll start the design, like do an hour of design, and then I'll stop and then go back to it like the next day, right before
Yeah.
I tattoo.
When you're
And
like brain fogged with it, you're like,
Yeah.
I don't even know. Or you put enough into it that you're like, I have to sleep now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's hard to like design right after you've just finished tattooing because you're like, I just finished work. I don't
Yeah.
want to
You're
design
getting
right
home at
now.
like 9 p.m. and you're like, no, I gotta make dinner, and then like,
Yeah.
no, I gotta figure out this design.
Doesn't
Like
stop.
midnight, and you're like, yeah.
I feel like some people don't understand it. They think that
It's just easy.
tattooing
Easy
and go
breezy.
home and then
Yeah.
you're not.
Especially if you work full time. I kind of like the idea of people like that that do big custom pieces like 4 days a week. Even 4 days a week sounds really balanced for a tattoo artist
Yeah.
to do.
Yeah.
I've done 6 days, fucking insane.
Yeah.
Like for a few years.
You get burnt out.
So burnt out. Even 5 days a week and commuting. I don't know how far your commute is, but and then having to do the rest of your life. It's just a fucking lot of work.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, for sure.
It's fucking exhausting. I want to do 4 days a week someday.
Yeah, 4
that'd be-
days sounds nice. You have like your weekend for like whatever you have to do. Maybe you'll have a little bit of a life.
Just a little.
Then like one day where you can get like a good head start to drawings and stuff.
I sometimes like just find myself overbooking myself because like I have people who just like I'll have a week where there will be 2 or 3 people that reschedule, and then I try to fill those spaces in, and when I do, I end up having 4 people wanting to book in, and then I'm like, oh shit, okay. Then I end up booking like 6 days, and I'm like,
Yeah, because you feel bad or whatever. Do you cash out your own tattoos?
do I cash out my
Yeah,
own
like
tattoo?
at the end of the day, when somebody pays, do they pay you or do they pay the reception?
Oh, they pay me.
They pay you.
Yeah.
I find that so uncomfortable and difficult to be like, you owe me this much money. I can't ever do it again. I did it. I'm not good at it. I always go, and I'm always like, I just trip myself. Like,
So
I know. It's
what
hard
do
to look
you
them in
tell
the
the
eye.
receptionist to
oh, which
how
is
much you
by
want
the
to
hour.
charge? Oh,
Usually
you're
it's just by the
oh,
hour,
okay.
and that way, whatever I'm doing is straight across the board, and I will tell that, like, and Matt always, like, rounds down anyway, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because if we take a break or two, he kind of keeps an eye on that anyways. Or if he knows the artist's habits, especially, he'll be like, well, this person goes to for smokes or whatever. But, yeah, it's just by the hour, and then especially if that person is really awesome and they've gotten canceled on or something, he might get even rounded down more, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Be more forgiving or not, you know what I mean? Or the opposite and be like, no, it's going to be this.
Well, the way I do it is I charge by the piece. So I will give them a quote, like a ballpark of what I'm going to charge for this piece. And they're already like prepared of how much
pay
it's going
that.
to be. So then
Yeah.
end of the day, I tell them the price and they're fine with that because they already know the price of the
That's fair.
tattoo.
So it's not so
Know
bad.
what to expect.
That's fair.
Yeah.
You too? You pay, they pay reception or you?
Yeah, they just pay me directly.
I hate that.
Yeah. Whenever I'm at the end of the day, I'm like, it's gonna be this.
Even if you
And they're like, what was that? I'm like, it's gonna be.
oh, it's just going to be this
They're like,
much.
just say it, okay? Just say it.
I know, right? I don't know. It is uncomfortable, right? But I found when I have had to do that, I undercut myself as soon as I'm responsible for doing that, which at the end of the day is like whatever. So, okay, this is kind of a fun one. Do you have any cross contamination stories that you can think of that you had seen at conventions or whatever it is that you're like, oh my god, this happened,
Yeah.
and I was just like, I almost wanted to say something, or
Yeah.
obviously you don't for some reason, but
No, I've got there's this one girl like she I guess never learned any of that stuff,
like
but she was
grabbing the
working
paper
with
towel.
me at a shop and would always like leave her gloves on, and when she had to use the washroom, she wouldn't take them off. She would just go, and we had like a doorknob or at our shop where you'd walk through one.
Can't imagine what you're gonna say.
Where you'd walk through one door and then go to the next door to use the washroom. So she would just not take her gloves off, open the door with touch the doorknob, and walk through the door, and probably touch the washroom doorknob too.
Why? Did she come out with no gloves?
Did
she come out with no gloves?
No, I think she'd be wearing her gloves.
So she the whole fucking 9 yards.
What? It was so weird. It was very weird. And she had been warned.
That's impossible.
By our
this is a made-up
boss
story.
not to do that, and she still did it. Like,
that's not even like tattooing basics. Yeah. That's like just common cleanliness.
She was a very
basics.
The thing was, she's a very good artist, but she just didn't learn like that sanitary like.
She won't like be. If she's listening, goddamn girl, just yeah. The gloves. I get gloves can even be expensive. Maybe that's why. But just throw them out because you can make more money keeping clients.
Yeah.
Because if I had seen that,
the gloves at the shop were provided. Not saying that you should waste gloves because the shop provides them.
Oh my God.
Maybe she was used to like buying her own gloves and like
maybe
I don't know.
Wow, that's a heavy one.
That is heavy.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen anything weird?
I don't have any cool stories like that. Let me tell you.
That's fair. That's good. That's good. You were working around decent environments. I've seen lots where they just like obviously their ink bottles are covered because they just go grab ink and whatever when they have oily bled hands or whatever, or they go and take their clothes off or something, their sweater off with their clothes on. What?
Wait a second.
You get it. Or they've grabbed their wallet or they give money or they touch their phone. Or something like that with like just straight, no
phones
coverage
are like
on
little germ factories.
Yeah, cover it, man. If you're gonna use it or text.
Yeah.
Just anyway.
Yeah.
So it always surprised me.
Yeah, I've seen this one guy take his like he's greeting a friend and he's like he didn't take his gloves off and he would pat his back like, "Hey, how you doing?" He's like, but I see it in slow motion.
Yeah.
I see
Trauma.
And I'm just like, oh my God.
It's cringy. It's all
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, I love those stories. I'm not gonna lie. I'm always like, what? Okay. Would you rather tattoo the whites of your eyes so that they're just whatever color you want, or your entire face?
I think I would rather tattoo the whites of my eyes.
Yeah, compared to the whole face.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's such a strong look.
I might
What
go
if it was
blind,
black?
But
Like the face?
No. The
like
what if it was blackface?
wait, you would do pink?
Pink? Would I do pink eyes or a pink face?
I thought
Or both.
I heard you said pink eyes, and I'm like, what?
That's
You
aggressive.
do some like really cool shit with the eyes now. You do like total gray washes with them and like color palettes and everything.
No
It's-
way.
Oh
Really?
yeah.
Isn't it illegal
How
in
the hell
Canada
could
now?
you do that?
I don't know.
I think it's like illegal everywhere. No matter where you're doing it, you're not supposed to be doing it. Period. But there's like 4 or 5 like super popular artists that do it on like a regular basis that travel through North America, South America, Europe,
That's cool.
Luna Cobra.
So you guys would
They
do your
inject
eyes?
it, right?
Yeah, it's an injection.
Yeah, and it's like
I'd rather
ever moving.
Yeah, it
it's under
and
a
then it
layer.
travels as well. So you put it in, it bubbles up, and then it eventually ends up. But you have to do multiple injections all the way around. So
It bubbles up.
yeah, it'll
Yeah.
bubble and then it spreads and it travels.
It seems so traumatizing.
What would
for
you
guys.
rather do?
I don't know, man. I think I'll do my face. Maybe I could put a bunch of filigree on there. Maybe it's not so bad.
But
you know
it'd
what I mean?
be including your nose too and everything.
I don't know. Just like when you meet people that have the black eyes, I'm always like,
Yeah.
like I'm like, I have a hard time having a conversation with him because that's all I can see. You know what I mean? Whereas the face tattoo, I'm like, yeah. you're just whatever. But it's almost more of a statement to do your eyes. It's very, very bold. No one has it.
It is a
It's
bold
very
move.
alarming. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's very like, what the fuck?
I think people get it for the shock value. Like they got it.
sure.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I think I'll
very
probably
shocking.
do a full face of tattoos though. But you do the eyes, and what color?
Maybe not black. Black is pretty intense.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Like maybe like blue or something. Pink would just like
Blue?
you know be like
Yeah.
stoned full time.
You could you have blue eyes though, right? So you could
Yeah.
always do like your complementary color and make your eyes pop.
Yeah.
I could do orange. Never mind, I'm gonna do orange. So I'm
Just
just
do
fucking.
gray wash.
So, I don't even know what that means.
Like it's literally like they'll do a full wash. So like from one side it's like basically white, and then all the way over to the other it's like super dark gray.
Okay, maybe I'll do that. I don't know because I don't know, it's a really stressful one for me.
Yeah, no face. No.
Anyways, yeah, I think we're probably almost at like 50 minutes or something like that. But you guys will have to come on again because
For sure,
we were
yeah.
just hitting it and we missed like half the questions because we
Tip
just
of
were
the
like-
iceberg.
Yeah, tit of the iceberg.
Hit.
That's what it
That's
is.
yours.
But thank you for coming on
Yeah.
and
Thanks
being
for having
so
us.
yeah.
Thank you.